The Chrome is taking over the island. The Seven have seemingly been defeated. We're almost completely in the dark other than Jonesy being with us. What is going on with the Chapter 3 Season 4 Fortnite storyline? Things are actually getting really interesting now. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the lead up to Season 4 as well as everything we know so far with the story in Season 4. Let's get right into this. Shortly before Season 4 began, a weird goo started showing up around the island as well as in the spawn area. We ended up finding out from Paradigm that the scientist, the visitor, and Origin were in their underground lab. They were researching that weird substance and had planned to go off the grid after we gathered some supplies for them.
I found the scientist. He's in his underground biolab researching that strange substance spreading across the island. The visitor is there too, along with Origin. We've been asked to find and bring some 7 gear to the lab. It sounds like we're going off grid.
This pretty much leads us right up into Season 4, where at the start of the Season 4 cinematic, we can see that the Seven are indeed in the underground lab. However, things go extremely wrong as they're analyzing the Chrome, and the Chrome actually starts consuming some of the members of the Seven. As the Chrome is consuming the Seven, they try to warn Paradigm to get away, and she does in fact escape through the ceiling. There are a lot of questions around this whole scenario that just went down. Are those members of the Seven actually dead? Is that their death scene right there? As we know, when you actually do get the Chrome on you in the Battle Royale map, it does the complete opposite of what we kind of seen in that cutscene right there. We actually are healed by the Chrome, and we can go in and out of the Chrome phase at any time. Potentially, the loop has some sort of effect on the Chrome, making it so that it doesn't kill us, or maybe something else actually went down with those members of the Seven. I'm interested in your theories. Do you think those 3 members of the Seven are actually dead now? Since the Seven never interacted with the Chrome in the past before and they have no idea what it actually is, it is possible that when they turned into the blob form, Paradigm saw that and got really scared and ran away too quickly, with her and the rest of the Seven not realizing that they'll end up turning back into themselves after a short period of time, just like what happens in the BR games. But personally, I feel like if that was actually the case, we would have heard from those members of the Seven by now. So if something like that were the case, then they 100% were kidnapped at that point instead of having free will to go around as the blobs. Because you'd think by now we would have been contacted by them. The only person we have had contact with so far this season of the Seven is Paradigm, and this is actually the last time we see those 3 members of the Seven after they get consumed. So we'll just have to wait for those answers. Going back over to Paradigm though, after she escaped through the roof, a Chrome tornado even tried to get at her before she made it all the way to the center of the map where the 0 point was. She realigned the 0 point to reality 659 and then headed into the 0 point, taking her off to reality 659. As she's leaving, we can see the Herald reveal herself for the very first time on the BR map, showing that she was watching Paradigm leave. And that is where we kick off, where we, the player, are now seeing Season 4 in the map and seeing the story from a view from the map as a looper. Now, we'll take a look at the Herald more in depth towards the end of this video. Right now, we're going to take a look at how Season 4 is going chronologically from what we can see. And immediately off the bat this season, we now have the Loot Lake cabin back, and it is back to where it used to be at. And above it, there is a rift. More than likely, this is going to be leading up to something big. Potentially even, could we see the cube come back and almost perform the same ritual that we seen back in Chapter 1? Regardless, it is something to pay attention to. Looking at the reality tree, it looks like it is in really bad shape. This could have been from the reality tree actually blooming, or it is possible that something else is going down with the reality tree. It is still receiving the power from the 0 point itself though, as we could see, but everything over in that area just does not look like it is alive. It is looking like everything is dying. The Herald and the Chrome have completely taken over the Sanctuary, and one really interesting thing to note about the Herald in the Sanctuary area is within her little Chrome kingdom, you'll notice that she's performing a sort of ritual on a Chrome blob that's floating in the air. Taking a closer look at that, the Chrome blob actually shows a picture of the reality tree. So if the reality tree is indeed dying or if it is being infected, this is coming directly from something the Herald is doing to it. Now with the Chrome taking over a lot of the map, we can also see that the people of the different point of interests have begun to prepare for this, as with some assistance from the No Sweat Insurance group, They are actually starting to lift point of interests into the air so that way the chrome cannot get to it. Since the chrome hasn't spread out too far into the map yet, we only see the lagoon have this happen to it, cloudy condos, and tilted is in preparation mode right now. So this is the state of the start of season 4. We have no contact with the 7 so far. The Herald is here and is taking over, as well as the Herald is manipulating the reality tree. And something crazy is brewing to go down right above Loot Lake once again. Now, this isn't the end of the story just yet, as we did get the first set of narrative quests, so we do have a bit more to go for the story so far in Season 4. Things start out with Jones basically telling us it's just him and us as the 7 are gone now.
0 point, and it's all down to us to figure out what's going on with the island.
Which, I don't know about you guys, but I have full faith in the team of us with the legend. Literally would be unstoppable. We don't even need the 7. We have the legend. Regardless though, we end up rebooting the scientist's computer to revive his AI named Amy. And with the help of Amy, we end up looking into the reality tree. We're investigating it. We end up seeing there's something odd going on with the roots of it. Well, it turns out the roots were making a weird sound, and it turns out that weird sound is actually a coded message from the paradigm. Once again, with the help of Amy, we get that message decoded. Once we get back into contact with the paradigm, she then says this.
Stay safe and listen. There will be no second chances here. The nothing is...
When Paradigm was saying this, she almost seemed like she was in a panic or she was really worried. However, she ended up bringing up the nothing, and if you notice the captions for that, it was capital T, capital N. The nothing is something that we have heard before in the Fortnite storyline, only mentioned a very few times. It is something that we'll also go in depth on a little later in this video for everything that we have seen on that. But her saying this even made Jonesy respond in this way.
Did she say nothing? Or V, nothing, capital T, capital N.
Oh, don't pretend you don't know.
As we just heard, Jonesy also seems really worried about the nothing, and that's why he asked for clarification whether she was just saying nothing or the nothing. Paradigm later asks us to investigate the chrome and gather data on it, saying this.
If there's a way through this, we'll need to know everything about this. Starting with the chrome.
As we heard, she got cut off saying what we need to know everything about. The only thing that we do know is whatever she was referring to, she started saying the in front of whatever the next word was going to be. And since we have everybody in a panic about the nothing, this could be what she was going to say before she got cut off. And if that is the case, then that means the nothing is linked up with the chrome, since that's what she wants us to start researching first. And this would be absolutely huge for the story going forward. We'll break all that down in our Nothing and Herald talk, but essentially from here we just end up going on and trying to gain some data on the chrome, so that way we could send it back to the paradigm and have some useful information for her. All of our data that we do end up gaining ends up being
inconclusive.
With an L that we just took, we end up going after the Origin's original attack plans on the chrome before he disappeared. And doing these quests has us defeat the Herald, which in my opinion, we're not actually defeating the Herald. It's probably just a version of the Herald in the loop, because it wouldn't really make sense to defeat somebody who should be really powerful or a main big portion of the story just like that in the story. But after doing all that, we have one final message from the paradigm, essentially telling us that she can't explain what is going on with the 0 point, and we just need to hold on for a little while. Jonesy then comes and tells us that it is time to go dark for a short period of time. This is where we are left off with the story, and there's actually a lot to unpack here. Now at this point of the video, we are going to get into the Herald and the Nothing, as I believe they are both linked, and these are the major things to talk about and focus on for the story as of right now. As we have heard, everybody seems extremely scared of the Nothing, or they are very paranoid of it at the very least. And what is the Nothing? Well, we did hear about the Nothing actually all the way back in Season X during the Black Hole event for the very first time. If you guys remember back during that Black Hole, there were a bunch of numbers that were showing up occasionally, and this turned out to be a secret message that we decoded. The secret message ended up reading, "I was not alone, others were outside the loop, this was not calculated, the Nothing is now inevitable." At the time, and even now, we are not 100% sure what exactly the Nothing is for sure. The Nothing, for all we know, could have actually been what was going on during the Black Hole. It's pretty much literally just nothing. This is where things get really interesting though. As we know, back in Chapter 1, there was a lot of major story events going on with the Cube, and the Cube is a part of the last reality. This shows that the Seven more than likely was aware of the last reality, since the last reality was directly involved with the Cube. You may be asking though, how does the Nothing relate to the Cube and the last reality? Well, during the Chapter 2 Season 8 trailer, the Cube Queen has some really interesting lines that she says.
And now that when we are done, only nothing will remain.
Now, this could just be selectively picking out words, and she could just be saying literally, after the battle is over, nothing is going to remain for your team, and nothing's going to remain for your world. However, with us having very little dialogue to go off of in Fortnite, I believe that this is very important, and the wording was not by coincidence. As we know, the last reality, their goal, literally by their name, the last reality, is to go to every single reality out there and completely destroy it and take it out, leaving nothing behind, so that way, when their goal is actually finished, they will be the only reality left and be the last reality. With both the Seven and the Imagined Order having prior experience with the last reality, they could actually have the knowledge of what is left over after the last reality leaves a reality where they have just destroyed it. This could be what the Nothing is that everybody is referring to, and this could be the link to all of that. How does this link up to the Herald, and what is the Herald's plans? I believe the link to the Herald and the last reality is right here in this voice line.
If there's a way through this, we'll need to know everything about this. Starting with the Chrome.
Like we had talked about previously in the video, we don't know exactly who she's referring to when she says the and is cut off, but with very little big things going on that start with the, it either has to be the Nothing or the last reality, unless we are going to be introduced to something else in the future. And since whatever she was referring to is linked up with the Chrome, that essentially means if she was talking about the Nothing or the last reality, then that links together everything. Breaking down what a Herald actually is, a Herald is an official messenger bringing news, and essentially the Herald has shown up to the map and is showing us that the map is going to be consumed along with all of us. And in my opinion, this all makes really good sense. The Herald must be a messenger sent from the last reality, and the news that we are sent is unfolding before our eyes right now with the map being consumed, basically showing a doomsday scenario is upon us. It didn't seem like we actually defeated the Cube Queen back in Chapter 2 Season 8. If the last reality actually did go from reality to reality and they destroyed them, there's no way the little things that we actually did in Chapter 2 Season 8 completely defeated them. With the Herald watching over us and then finally coming to the island and taking off with their plan, and Paradigm going into an absolute panic over the Nothing, I believe the future of the Chapter 3 Season 4 story is going to take us back to the last reality, trying to destroy the map and cause all-out destruction, also going after the 0 point. If this actually plays out like that, it is going to be absolutely insane to see. I would be way too down to have another The Last Reality fight, as the last one was really anticlimactic. It wasn't really the greatest fight. We definitely need a redemption fight against them. I'm interested to know what your guys' thoughts are on all of this. Do you guys believe the Herald links up with the Nothing in The Last Reality? Or do you think we are gearing up to see something completely different introduced to us in the Fortnite storyline? Now, before we end up taking off with this video, we have a bonus thing to talk about, a side story, which this actually could become a big part of the main storyline. We just have to wait and see. But we are going to be talking about the Peace Syndicate right now. You might not have actually heard of the Peace Syndicate. They were actually first introduced to us last season in Season 3, but it is explained to us that they have actually been an active group since Chapter 3 Season 2, kind of being under the radar and not really showing who they actually are and showing themselves at the time. The Peace Syndicate essentially is a group that works to maintain peace on the island, no matter the means. So the inhabitants and the other people living on the island actually fear and distrust their group. Evie is a part of the Peace Syndicate, and they actually took over Rave Cave after the war had ended in Season 2. They also end up owning a place in the top right side of the map, and through unique dialogue with some of the other characters, we also can see that they are actively trying to recruit different loopers. Why are we talking about the Peace Syndicate right now? Well, one of the Battle Pass characters from the season, Twin, actually directly works for the Peace Syndicate, and he is a multifaceted master scout for them. He was actually sent to the island to assist Evie, and there's a secret dialogue where if you go and talk to Evie as Twin, you'll get the response back, "It's not time yet." That's pretty much all there is to go off of right now. However, it is something really interesting to pay attention for in the future, as we now know that the Peace Syndicate has some big scheme going on, and they are just lying in wait to activate and start up whatever it is that they're planning. That wraps up everything that there is interesting to talk about in the storyline so far, up until Chapter 3, Season 4. As the storyline progresses this season, I'll keep posting updates on that, and at the end of the season have one big storyline video going over everything in detail that happened throughout the season, including the not-so-easy lore information that isn't just kind of given to us. Soon, I will actually have a complete Chapter 3 story so far video posted, and way later on down the road, I do plan to make a cinematic-style, complete Fortnite storyline video going from Chapter 1 all the way up until now. And for those that are really involved and love the storyline in Fortnite, don't you worry, we do have a massive story drop coming up next week with the 5th Marvel comic being released. Of course, most of the information from that has already been leaked, but there should still be a lot to talk about once that comic actually does officially release. And of course, we will end up posting a storyline video going over that once it does actually drop. Anyways, we're taking off for now. This has been the Walkthrough King. If you guys are new to the channel, why not subscribe? We post a lot of content like this and have one of the best communities on YouTube, and a like on this video would also be appreciated. It really helps things out. This has been the Walkthrough King, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Peace!